tell you about the time my buddy Keith told me that he was picked up by some little green men and that, hey, that's off, he's dropping shit. Oh, dude, this reminds me of that time my buddy Keith, he went on a diet on account of what his doctor saying he had to go on a diet or he'd die. So they told him he could drink nothing but them little diet shakes. But those are like $5 a can, man. And Keith is like, look, I ain't... No, man, he gained like 30 pounds. But he did invent a shitload of tasty drinks. I was kind of always partial to the Keith's Kiwi Kamikaze. I ever tell you about the time my buddy Keith wanted to see what it felt like to be in a snowstorm? Said he ain't ever seen real snow. Only snow we get is from that big machine that cleans the ice at the local rink. So he just figured he'd make do with that big machine when it went to dump its load. He just lay under it. Man, took us 2 hours to dig him out. Yep. Lost 2 fingers and a thumb to frostbite. This one time, my buddy Keith on a dare got a tattoo. I'm a moron. Right across his forehead, man. Of course, he made $200 off that, so you ask yourself, who's the real moron, huh? This one time, my buddy Keith started up a historic tour on account his mom took him to Colonial Williamsburg, and it's like a license to print money at them places. Now, you might ask yourself how an honest attempt to recreate the majesty of colonial times turned into raccoon fights at $5 a pop at Keith's backyard. Man, the answer to that particular question is that Keith is sharing a place with his 2 brothers, and them being assholes who wouldn't let him do it anywhere but the backyard. Well, add that to Keith didn't technically have any, history to put on display, but he did have a whole family of raccoons living in the chassis of an old car. And you begin to understand. My buddy Keith had his car drop in a lake off a bridge just like this one here. Yeah, see, he was driving over it late at night, and there in the middle of the bridge was what looked like, in Keith's estimation, like a dead bear. So Keith gets out his car to find like a stick to poke at it, right? Well, it turns out it's just some lady's fur coat that must have fallen out her car. So, hey, free coat, right? Now, owls won't normally attack a man, but in this case, they were hungry, and that made them reckless, man. Keith reckons they must have been there for hours watching what they thought was a bear carcass, because as soon as he picked it up, them owls had claws in him an inch deep. Well, Keith figures his best bet is to jump in a lake, because owls can't swim. Well, them owls could. He fought them for like 20 minutes treading water, and during that time, a boat came, bridge went up, and down went Keith's car. Man, sometimes nature's just trying to teach us, if we'd only listen. I ever tell you about the time my buddy Keith made sushi? Yeah, his mom took him to a sushi place for his birthday, and he didn't want to go, but he turned out he loved it, man. But it's like $10 a sushi at one of them places. So Keith figures, hey, how hard could it be to roll up some raw food and seaweed, right? As it turns out, it's hard. Now, they say experience is the best teacher, and experience taught Keith that if you ever eat 3 pounds of raw chicken, it kills you. Now, luckily, Keith's brain went into self-defense mode and started shutting organs down to head the chicken off of the pass, and the doctors were able to get him out before his heart stopped. But to this day, Keith has no sensation in his right foot, and doesn't recognize his brother Paul no more. Hey, y'all. Yeah, I like this bridge you got. This reminds me, my buddy Keith and I were once on a bridge just like this, man. Well, kinda. I mean, I was on the bridge, and Keith was sure he could jump the river without the bridge, so I raised the bridge, and well... Did you know cars could float? For a little while at least. I ever tell you about the time my buddy Keith got married? Of course not. That's a trick question. He never got married. You hear about them runaway brides, right? Well, Keith was a runaway groom. And on his wedding day, it all started when... Oh, shit! Oh, this ain't good. We got 2 tanks here. I ever tell you about the time my buddy Keith snuck into a wedding? He thought he was being smart, getting all dressed up and but it seems the preacher wasn't there, and they all thought he was the preacher, and well, he married him the best he could. I think that counts for them being married, but I don't know, maybe not. I think they named one of their...